morning. The first method or approach that I'm teaching here are triads. And just, this can last you for ever. I'll just say it like that. It's not like you're going to master triads in 1 week, okay? So I would say, I recommend that you apply those studies. For example, that minor swing gypsy jazz boot camp, it's called day 1, maybe it's called day 4, I don't remember. But I've got a lot of different studies. And then I also sent out a similar study for all of me. And so again, you can apply this to every and any gypsy jazz style song. I might have said the word standard. I kind of mean more swing or gypsy jazz. To me, there's kind of a differentiation of some jazz standards versus the gypsy jazz style songs. And that's what I mean by that is oftentimes in gypsy jazz style, you use, in Django specifically, he would simplify the chord changes quite a bit. So you wouldn't have often as much of a 2-5 chord progression, but more just a dominant chord, the 5 chord, and then it goes to the 1 chord. So those are the type of songs that method works really well over in all of these strategies that I'm going to be going over with you. So the triad method includes mapping out the triads on your instrument respectively. We're all here guitar players for the most part. And to be able to find all your A minors. Just locate it, and oftentimes it's visualizing the chord shapes that really helps. So really, if you want to play lead guitar, you also have to play chords and like really study, the fretboard as far as where the chords are located, the chord tones. And then I said, okay, now do the lower neighbor tone. Do the upper neighbor. Add a chromatic to those notes. Those are all on A minor. Combine them so you get what's called enclosure, like this. Then I say fancy it up, a la Django. And then outline, hit those chords as they change. That's the hard part that you'll discover. It's like A minor, D minor, E7. And when it comes to that E7, such as minor swing, I say just think E major. Just to triad, simplify it, just think E major. And then that's what we're going to pick up on today as I introduced it last term for a little bit of soloing strategies. The caravan hack is what I ended up calling it, my nickname, caravan hack. And that specifically deals with the dominant chord, so E7. I say, and on that worksheet that I passed out last term, I know some of you were not here, but there's a simple worksheet called Minor Swing Soloing Ideas. And I said, for a darker flavor, go a half step above the triad note. So you get this sound on the E. Here's E major. You go do this. You get this. So it's a matter of still visualizing where my E triads are, or E shapes, like this. Or this, or this, just try to visualize. Then you can hit those chord tones and go a half step above, and that gives you a darker flavor. Now, I'll describe that a little bit further today. I'll say, okay, that's the flat 9, sharp 5.
Is that on a dominant chord? Maybe?
That's the dominant chord concept there. And that's all. If you want to check out, there's this worksheet I passed out for today's session called the Caravan Hack that's dedicated to showing how to apply that. But I also show that on that minor swing strategies. And it's also on that triad embellishment study. There's I have too many materials, as many of you already know, so I try to focus on just this session here. It's all available on Patreon. I know many of you are on Patreon already, but if you want further studies, go to Patreon. Triad embellishment number 3, that's dedicated to the dominant chord, thinking that half step above for that darker flavor. So again, hopefully we're going to pick it up today looking at a couple new chord progressions. Avalon, Caravan. I know you all don't know the song yet. Some of you do, but it might be new for you to Caravan and Avalon. I think those are the only 2 lead sheets that I passed out. This class is focused more on improvisation, so we're not necessarily going to go through everything of that song. I might just hit the A section and let's jam on it and apply it. Then if you're like, oh, I love Avalon, then work on it at home and learn it from my lead sheet and play along with Django and all that stuff. But again, this term is more about improvisation versus a repertoire class.
Oh yeah, I was showing my printer was being
Yeah.
funky and I couldn't get the lead sheet printed.
Okay, yeah,
out.
no worries. You can look off next to Milt there. I think he has it printed, or is that true?
Which one?
and realistically today we don't need. Yeah, realistically we don't need those. Just so you know, we're just gonna hit the chords, and I'm gonna demonstrate. For example,
Thank you.
I'm gonna demonstrate how I think of it as being similar. We'll pick up on this next week. Cool. Thanks, Liz. Okay, so anyways, I'm just talking about the review of and where we're going with this and how we're going to embellish it. I also passed out another important worksheet that I called, I think it's called My Favorite Blues Hack. And it's really a fun little strategy for soloing. I might even just start off with that just for fun. And it's basically taking a minor triad. I'm going to play a C minor here. That's how I wrote it, C minor. I'm going to show you the bar chord, for it here first. This is what I'm thinking, for example, C minor bar chord on the 8th fret. This. But if you just take the triad, this much of it, that's C minor. This is everybody's favorite shape, including Django. Just as you can't go wrong with that minor triad shape, which if you added a 4th note, it becomes a minor 7, but it also becomes a major 6 chord, as you all know from this song. That's what Django's visualizing, was this major 6 shape. But if you just do the triad of it, let's go back to C here on the on the 8th fret. Just do this C minor, and this is I'm starting you off here on my favorite blues hack. It's just a bluesy lick, is what it is. Good. 8th fret, 8, 8, 8. Everybody doing this? Good. So what we're doing here is, before we did stuff like this, and we did this. Those are the two embellishments, the lower neighbor and the upper neighbor. So what I'm going to do here is add another scale tone. And this is described on that worksheet, but it's better if I just show you. So now, if you have this in mind, we're going to do this kind of a melodic pattern. That motif. Yeah, it's just a 3-note scale motif. Leslie is on it. So it's just doing this. It's a beautiful pattern because it's the same intervallic design for each one of those chord tones. So check this out. And then if I wanted to continue it down, it's just a quick way to get, I'll describe it in a music theories analysis way, Dorian mode with the added blue note. So it's a Dorian lick with the added blues flat 5.
So in this swing music, are the blue notes okay?
Absolutely, yeah. Django is very bluesy. Not like T-Bone Walker or Buddy Guy style bluesy, but he would definitely bend and get that flat lean on that flat 5.
When I put it in there, it doesn't sound right.
Well, maybe you're too bluesy. But no, I mean, these days, listen to players such as like Tommy Emmanuel or whoever. Those guys will throw in. And those players that are definitely influenced by the blues. But usually in gypsy jazz, you don't bend more than a half step. Django only bent half steps, never whole steps that I'm aware of. I've never heard him bend a whole step. So you'd only bend half steps. And in blues, when I think of a lot of blues music, you're bending a whole step, a minor third, or even more than that in a lot of blues if you're Buddy Guy or whoever. So just limit your bending, and we'll talk a little bit about adding the blues. But this is a great way to get that bluesy flavor by visualizing triads. We're not even thinking a scale. I'm telling you that we're achieving a Dorian mode with the flat 5 blue note, but all you're thinking is C minor triad. So try that out if you guys don't mind. I'm going to give you a chord here. So here, let's do it together. So check it out. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can phrase it however. And I personally like to add grace notes like this. slide into it from below, like but I'm still visualizing the C minor triad. You can do licks like this. It's all on a C minor chord. And what this should hopefully allow you to do is not think too much about the fingerings. You're just, all you need to do really is think this, where's my C minor triad? So let me now just demonstrate, you can do this also, is here's another C minor triad, this chord. So this one's a little bit trickier by the design of it, the diagonal shape. You have to do this. Same idea, you just do this. Now I'm going diagonal. So you got to work it out through the different triad shapes or your chord shapes for this lick. Now I'm also applying triplets. Da 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 da. So again, it's just a quick hack by thinking not scale, but a triad shape and just getting that everywhere. And as you get into this music more theoretically, you'll also think like, oh, I could apply that on an F7 chord or F9 chord on a dominant. And that's a really common approach. So like C minor 6, you can see it on the guitar. If you're to change the bass note, check this out. That's F9. F9 contains a C minor triad. F9 contains C minor triad. C, E flat, and G. So again, this works.
So what's the one note that you changed? What was the bass note that you?
For the demonstration, I changed the C to F. I put the F in the bass. But if we're just thinking C minor triad in this embellishment, it would work also on an F dominant chord. So you get both, it can work on a dominant or. And in Django style, and this is where the blues comes in, he would often play these minor licks against a major chord. So, John, can you chunk out a G6 chord for me? John's playing G6. Just happy, here's G major scale. Really pretty. But here's that blues hack. Django rarely did scale sequences like that, but more of this almost rockabilly. And then go to minor. Sorry.
Playing that off
Yeah, John's playing G6 major, or I'm having now play G minor. You can still use the same lick. So this blues, that's the power of the bluesy sound, that blues quality, even though technically it's not 100% the blues scale. But to me, again, it just has that bluesy flavor. Thank you, John. By doing this. Against this chord. But so again, for us right now, this is just almost like a fretboard concept and a theoretical concept, is that you can apply this kind of a lick hack over a minor chord, over a dominant chord, and that face value on the major chord as well, if you want that bluesy flavor. That's what I'm saying. So you can achieve that. It's really beautiful. So let's all try it on G minor. I'm going to play a G6 chord for you. We have G6 like this. I'm going to play it like this. And you go like this, da da dum. And it doesn't matter where you start, really. I'm gonna play down on the 3rd fret, but you can play any one of these 3 notes. It's gonna harmonize beautifully. Da da da, dee da dum. And then here's a bluesy part, da da dum. Yeah, and if you, but and just, but da 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 da, and it particularly sounds good if you resolve it to the triad note. Generally. can have fun with those notes. You don't have to just land on those notes. Yeah. I'm going to C9 chord, by the way. It sounds great over both chords. That's where you can play it over the dominant. Yeah. Find it everywhere. Find your G minor triad all over the fretboard. Yeah. One, two, a little bit faster. 2, 3, 4. Nice, you guys. Yeah, it's again, so what I'm hoping is that this little demonstration for you is like, oh, this is a cool sound. I need to make sure I can do it here, here, here. You know, like find your G minor everywhere, this triad. And you don't have, the cool thing about it is the fingering, and that's what the caravan hack is gonna also be similar. It's the fingering for us. It allows us not to have to think too much, but to still get this really beautiful sound, right? Any questions on that at all? We'll come back to that. I just wanted to introduce that hack for you so that it expands on this triad concept still. Okay, so next, I'm just gonna go through this systematically, unless there's any questions. The next part is the caravan hack. So let's talk about this, and we'll apply it to the song Caravan or Avalon. But again, we're not going to necessarily learn the song today. That'll come later in the next round of Gypsy Jazz classes where it's more repertoire based. So everybody, if you want to play C chord like this, bar chord, C triad, any triad is fine with me. I'm just demonstrating it like this. And this is also known as, for guitar players, as the A shape. So I'm sliding it up to the A shape. Bar chord. And then if you slide it up half step, you get this flavor. It's really beautiful, dark flavor. Like I'm gonna be, and some of you already know Caravan or have played it, so that kind of is the vibe. Yeah, so this is oftentimes this half step. That's actually what the rhythm player will often do. And I passed out that worksheet of the rhythm guitar, so it's like this. Okay, so with this particular hack here, what we're going to do for leads is we're going to find our C major triad everywhere, but I'm going to start off with this particular shape. Okay, so if you want to play note for note, it's G, C, E in this shape. I'm just playing 3 notes and slide it up like this. But now we're going to break it up into single notes by using the Django style fingering. Okay. So all I'm doing here is adding a half step above each one of those triad notes, which really is a D flat triad. D flat major triad. So there's other terminology we can use. We can call this triad pairs, C and D flat triad pairs. But ultimately it's a 6-note scale that comes out of the harmonic minor scale. Does anybody know which harmonic minor scale this might come out of? It's okay if you don't, because I'm going to talk to you about it. A is not correct. Nice try. And it's okay if you don't know. Good. F harmonic minor. Yeah, so if this is I'm hoping this will push you to study scale theory a little bit as well, even though we're avoiding theory as much as possible here in this session. But just there's a limited amount of theory that I think is necessary. F harmonic minor scale contains a C major triad and a D flat major triad. They're the 5 and the flat 6 of the scale when you look at the harmonized scale. So that's kind of what we're targeting, are those two triads, C and the D flat major triads. But we're just putting it together as if it's part of the scale, which is it's part of the harmonic minor scale. We're omitting one note from the F harmonic minor. Okay, so that's what that is. And we're actually playing it on a C7 chord. John, C7 chord, please. Check this out, you guys. Not 9 though, not 9, just C7.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, stop. I want to, thanks, stop. I heard a 9. I heard that note. Like, that kind of goes against this concept here. I could force it in on top of it, but it's better against a dominant C7 because it gives, this sound gives us a flat 9. Not the natural 9, which is this. It's kind of, a natural 9 is brighter, a little bit happier sounding, I think of it. The flat 9 is dark, very gypsy jazz in my opinion, and when I always refer and think about gypsy jazz. So I like that dark flavor over this. This helps us achieve it really quickly when the rhythm player is playing C7. Just listen, everybody, then we'll jam. Shape. Right here, I'm holding a shape. Or maybe it's this way. So hopefully I can visualize a C triad everywhere. Right here. And listen to the chord. And there's no scales. I'm not thinking any scale. Thank you, John. I'm not thinking any scale. This is the beauty of it. I don't have to practice my scales. I don't want to do this up and down the harmonic minor scale. This allows me to achieve that harmonic minor flavor, that dark gypsy jazz style vibe, without having to run up and down scales and think scales. But I'm still playing 6 of the 7 notes of the scale. Okay, so to me that's a really nice hack, and I could think a little bit more simple, rhythmic, and dig into it. Just get right to that flavor. Don't be afraid to hang on that flat 9. 2, 3, 4. Da da da. This. Da da da. See that 10 in the flat 9. Da da da. So find your favorite. I'm gonna play chords for you guys, and I want you to bathe in this flavor, this harmonic minor flavor, using the quote caravan hack. You have to make sure you just find your favorite C shape. I'm demonstrating it with this. I like this one so much. Again, this ties into that minor shape, right? On this string, it's a minor, but over here, this is a major. I'm on the 4-3-2 string set. That's a second inversion of C major triad. But again, look at how easy it is just to do this. So that's the one I gravitate toward first. Yeah, just play with that. Dig in there. Get rhythmic. Leave space. Another thing, I always sing when I play. I try to, just so I really connect to it, and I leave space because I can't circular breathe or anything. Breathe. Breathe. So again, try to do that. Sing what you play to yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Get rhythmic too. F minor triad, you ready? Right here. I'll stay on F minor a little bit longer for you. And then back to the C7 with the caravan hack. Everybody show me your F minor triad that you're thinking. Yeah, me too. This one. This is the easiest one, right? You could be here. You might be up here too. I was just doing this one. So again, if I were, John, can you do the C7 to F minor for me? Maybe 4 bars on C7, 4 bars on F minor, 6. So it's gonna be, how about this tempo? So can you guys listen for a sec? In this position. So again, what I was trying to do there is just resolve it to F minor. That was my shape there. So again, wherever you happen to be at on the fretboard, this is the fun part, is just to try to connect these ideas. This is kind of demonstrated on that caravan hack worksheet, by the way. Specifically, I think I show resolving it using to the F minor to the blues hack, what I call it here. This is all 6 strings, by the way. Check this out, F minor bar chord. There you go. So I'm just visualizing that bar chord shape and doing that same little melodic pattern. Shift. I know you don't have 6-string guitar here, but can everybody, I'm going to show you this really quickly on the F minor bar chord shape. Use your first finger only. Here's how to practice it. Use your first finger only. Do this. Do that triad there. We'll just do 3 strings that time. This, and then scoot over here, and that's the rest of the chord. And all we're visualizing is this F minor bar chord. This. You do have to shift over, that's the thing, right, to get those chord tones. Now this is not a full arpeggio, just so you know. It's close. We're missing one note, the A flat, so that's okay with this. Very guitaristic. And then add in this. If you want to get all 6 strings. So that will help you visualize that F minor. And that would work beautifully on an F minor 6 chord. Go for it. Just stay on the F minor for a second. And then we'll go back to the C7. Even if you need to do that preliminary exercise, this. That helps you visualize it. I really suggest staying on one chord for quite a while before trying to navigate a progression. So there's some YouTube videos where it's just one chord vamp for 8 minutes. Use those, or use a loop pedal yourself, because it's tricky to navigate the changes. Ready? C7. Now you'll see why it's tricky. Use that hack, the caravan hack. Da 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 da. Really dark. And F minor. wasn't ready, but C7. F minor. Next week we're going to start, I'm just going to demonstrate here. Next week we're going to start a concept. This works, especially on guitar, but it works backwards on the mandolin. I've worked with students on the mando before. And that's going to be the diagonal method. And we already kind of learned the diagonal method. Django uses quite a bit this. If you'll remember Appel Direct. So you could, this will open up the fretboard to you in many ways and get you kind of flying around the fretboard. But if I took the same little hack, this idea, I'll take the F minor thing, I would do something like this. I'm just showing you the fretboard divided up root fifth, root fifth, root fifth, root fifth, root fifth, root fifth, root fifth. Don't worry, we're going to do this more. I've got plenty of studies on this. But check it out with this little kind of hack. So I'm just kind of moving this diagonally. So that's kind of a really fun, and that's going to tie into our arpeggios that we're going to do on the dim 7. We're going to go diagonally on dim 7, then we can resolve it with these style of playing. So basically that's just going to open up the fretboard to you diagonally, and it actually works on the mando, but it's backwards. It's not this way, but it's that way. So we'll talk about that next week with the diagonal method. Any questions on this at all?
Quickly.
Yes, please.
So it's like just a fourth difference from the C7 to the F harmonic, essentially?
The fourth difference,
it's
C7 is the 5 of
yeah,
F
but going the other way,
minor.
but
Yeah.
But the other way, the F is.
C goes up to F, a
Right.
fourth, or down.
Right.
C, and I'm going to talk about these. I'm kind of thinking 2 songs that are really great for application for this. Like as I'm kind of just paraphrasing essentially the progressions, and that's Caravan and Avalon. Caravan, John, can you play chords? I'm going to play the melody of Caravan once. Just swing style is fine. You don't have to do the Latin. 1, 2, 3, 4. C7. See that lick? Then it goes to the B section. So like right there, I was just, thank you, John. I was just demonstrating the application of these soloing concepts to that song. You know, it's a very specific approach, you know, but it's just nice and simple. And it brings out the melody. That's why I quoted the melody. So you get the half step above that flavor. That's why I want to recommend this on Caravan. I don't want to hear that D natural. I want D flat. That's the flat 9. That's that beauty of the Caravan hack. So again, I really stuck to this when against the chords, you know. And then when it went to F minor, I just resolved it to a couple of those phrases. I would just suggest keeping it really simple. This is all, to me, part of the triad method, but we're kind of expanding on what we did last week, which is, you know, just going like this. You can still add that stuff in, but now I'm kind of expanding on it. And you can still resolve F minor, John, like this. Stay on F minor. Here's the blues. Here's more blues. Little Dorian there. But anyways, I was just kind of still thinking off of this F minor shape. You know, that's, we guitar players especially love to think off of chord shapes. It really helps, and that's, to me, defines a lot of Django Reinhardt's style of soloing, and Charlie Christian, if you're in Charlie Christian fans. But most guitar players, unless you get into more modern style jazz guitars where they are thinking a lot more linearly like a horn player, then we're using quite a bit of chord shapes. So that's heavily what we're doing. So that's the beauty of Caravan, is to practice that. Now Avalon, differently but similarly, this is where I'd like to do both songs, and this is, you know, helping you choose your songs to be working on for repertoire. Avalon goes like this. Do you know Avalon?
I know a 9 there, but
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I found my love in Avalon. The C7, and then B side, F major 6, the bay, and then back to C7. And then sail, keep doing that away. So here's C7. I'm using the Caravan hack, F major. I know a different thing, but I'll do what we did. And then, see how bluesy that sounds? And then check this out. So again, that kind of gives a bluesier flavor. This F minor lick, this against this, that major 6. That's what we did earlier, that major 6. So let's all jam on that for a second. And again, we're not going to necessarily go through the melody, but you have those PDFs. If you're like, oh, I want to learn Avalon, that's a standard and essential gypsy jazz song. Django recorded it many times, and it's a good jam session song. But what I love about it is the fact that it's, and we all should play chords for a second. C7. This is a simplified, the Django style, and then F6. And I'm doing it like this. I won't show you. C7 or C9 even, if you want. I know that goes against my little hack there, but that's okay. A lot of players play C9. C7. Found my love in Avalon, and then F6 beside the bay, and again I love F6. You all do it. Caravan hack and resolve F blues minor. Yeah, that blues hack I showed you. Major. F, sorry, I'll yell it out. Ready? Caravan hack on C, Triad. And then F minor. You might even just hit that F minor. Make sure you visualize that shape. And C7. F minor. Yeah. Ba, ba, ba. And C7. F minor. Now I have to be really careful because I say F minor to you guys, but I'm playing F major. That's what's creating that bluesy flavor. This F6 chord against it. That's where that bluesy vibe comes in. Again, Django used that sound so much. It's a beautiful sound. You can, and later we'll get into some arpeggio playing, but you can even play F minor 6 arpeggio. I mean, Django would do these chords like against a major chord. He would play minor 6, and that's how you get a lot of these cool colors, very Django flavors. Question.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, more of a comment. It's just interesting that it's basically looking like a 5-1.
This is all 5-1 stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but yet we're using that harmonic minor F harmonic minor over the 5, which which would be a 5 minor line.
Right, exactly.
So it's
Beautiful.
It's just an
Thank you.
interesting
That's a
choice,
great
yeah.
concept. And again, I'm trying to limit the amount of theory talk here, but even though, so Avalon in this case, we're in the key of F major, but on the 5 chord, we're treating it like we're, for this moment, for that dominant chord, that we're in F minor, F harmonic minor specifically. And I didn't talk about this, the numbers, I did briefly, but you'd be getting it on the C7 chord, that is, you get the flat 9 and the flat 13 or sharp 5. Get some really beautiful colors, and that's ultimately the flavor that you get. Or I'll play it to you as a chord like this. Listen to this harmony. And then it's going to resolve to F major, not minor. So you get this. And then. So it's almost like for that 5 chord. And then on the F major, that bluesy against the F major. So again, that F major, you get that flat 3, which is the blue note that everybody likes to say, and then you get the beautiful 6th degree. You got the 9, you get the 11, not the best note to hang on, and you get the flat 5. But again, we hear that flat 5 is how I just played it in the blues style. You know, that flavor. So Cole Porter was also a composer who used that this kind of approach a lot. He would have like a Night and Day, or the song I Love You, both of those two songs, or What Is This Thing Called Love, another Cole Porter song. These are 3 classic songs where he would treat that the 5 chord and the 2 chord in front of the 5 chord as from the parallel minor key, and then resolve it to major. It's kind of just like you're fooling, you know, the listener. You hear this darker, and then it resolves happy, you know, major. So he liked that sound a lot. Maybe that's where Django got it from. I'm not sure. But to borrow that, yeah, it adds more tension than just staying in Mixolydian mode. I wouldn't run. Well, sometimes I might, but just run the Mixolydian scale, which is all the diatonic scale of F. So again, this is again kind of working on playing to each chord. This is a great approach, and we're still hopefully you're not losing sight of how important the triads will help you. I keep saying that, you know, it's an ongoing study to just try to master these triad shapes all over the fretboard. So basically we're thinking C to F minor in this case, and we're using it on 2 different songs, Caravan and Avalon. But we're doing the same exact approach. That's what's so interesting. Same lick, same approach. It's a different form structure. Caravan's a longer form. You guys heard that. But it's the same movement, 5-1. So again, this is a very important, because how many songs go 5-1? You know, that's like the most. You have 1, 4, and 5, minor swing, and we can apply this to so many songs, and that's where I want to go. Next is going back to minor swing. So we have minor swing. We have A minor 6, D minor, E7. There's that caravan hack. I just wanted you to hear that. And then A minor. I'm going to do the blues hack. And then, you know, we could do what we did last week, which is, or 2 weeks ago now, which is just playing around the triads. D minor. And then here's the E7. Where's E at? Right here. I'm going to take the shape. So I'm going. And then back to A minor. Nice and slow jam. This is a minor swing. A minor. And on the E7 right here, caravan hack. Can everybody do this E shape? This is the easiest shape right here. Just this shape again, to me. Yeah. And then resolve it to A minor. You can do this. Visualize this. Watch my finger, you guys. A, E. And watch this. It's a magic trick. A minor. Same shape. Same shape. We love shapes. And then A minor. But the little design here is not this. Not that. We don't want that, but we do this. That brings the bluesy quality back to minor swing. So again, on the E, A minor. Sure, I'm moving around a little bit, but these are just some nice, quick, easy hacks for your soloing. E7 to A minor, then we'll add the D chord, D minor to minor swing, and then you got some new ideas to use. 1, 2, E7. A minor. Yeah. E7. We're doing 2-bar phrases. A minor. And the E. And A minor. Yeah. One more time. E major. If you need to hit that chord first, do it. And then A minor. E. A minor. E. A minor. Ready? D minor. Now we're playing minor swing. A minor. And the E hack. Caravan hack. Yeah. And A minor. And E. Don't worry about that quick change. And top. A minor. D minor. And the E. And back to A minor. And D minor. A minor. E. A minor. Yeah, you got it. And top. A minor. D minor. E. Caravan. A minor. And D minor. A minor. Here comes that E. Build that tension. And A minor. How'd you guys do? Perfect. Questions on that at all?
Reconfigure your head to.
Okay.
I'm just gonna learn, so just to clarify, so
Yeah, I'm just gonna learn to knock it.
Okay, hold on a second.
in harmonic minor or something like Avalon that's not, the blues hack is most appropriate over the 1, and the upper neighbor caravan hack is most appropriate over the 5.
Mhm.
And you wouldn't really mix them up too much, right?
No, it's just it's a very specific thing here.
So the.
Oh, sorry. Can you talk about this afterwards?
Sure.
So it's a very Dan's question about the upper neighbor. Essentially, the upper neighbor can be used in both, and that's where the blues hack is an extension or expansion of the upper neighbor. So instead of just like here's A minor, so instead of just this like what we did last time, the lick I wrote in the boot camp was this. The little rhythmic lick, but this adds another note, scale tone. 3 more notes to be exact, right? So it's almost like that lick there. So to me, that's still like an upper neighbor concept. But in the caravan hack, we're doing half step above the triad. This above each one of those notes, and that's where you get that major triad, a half step above. I'm going to have John play for me in a second in C7 again. I'm going to demonstrate the other embellishment, not using the caravan hack. So the caravan hack to me is specific to achieve the harmonic minor flavor, right? But this, what I'm going to do here on C7 is going to treat C7 like it's a major. I'll just say like a major triad. So if you guys recall the All of Me study, we did this. This is basically like the All of Me study number 2 here, the upper neighbor like this. John's playing C7. I'm treating it like a C major triad. I don't have this note. That's a flat 7, but now check it out. Now I'm gonna do that. That's the difference. The caravan hack is a half step up versus this. Now go to F major. That's a very, very inside, very pretty. Back to C7. I want to do this everywhere. Oh, I caught myself doing the flat 9. Thank you. Yeah. So again, that could be another approach we could use for Avalon, especially, is keeping it very diatonic to the chord. So again, I'm just recommending that you kind of understand also the flavor. I keep saying the word flavor. That to me is this flavor, flat 9. Those are the flavors versus just a natural 9. This. Then I'd go. Then I might choose the more inside colors, the natural 2, the natural 9. So again, those are all just demonstrations of the upper neighbor, what I'm calling the upper neighbor tone. But ultimately, we have a scale again. John, C7 one more time, check this out. This is almost the Mixolydian mode. I'm one note away from it. People call this the Dickie Betts scale now. I love Dickie Betts, but I never thought of it as being called the Dickie Betts scale. You all know Dickie Betts?
Yeah.
Okay. Dickie Betts, Allman Brothers, yeah. Great guitar player. He wrote Jessica, the song Jessica, classic rock song.
So just a major pentatonic with an added 4?
Major, yeah, that's added 4 to the major pentatonic, that's all. So there's different ways to think of it. Again, or you can think of it as almost a Mixolydian mode without the flat 7. Anyways, that's the use of triads as applied to this. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's still
With demonstration.
When we're on the 4, when we're on the D.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them sounded a little. I couldn't quite figure.
Oh, you don't want to do that on the D minor though. Thank you for. So let's go back to that minor swing on the D minor. What I would recommend is just to apply what we did from the boot camp. This. That's D minor, or this. That's a whole step above the D minor for the D minor. And you can add chromatic or this, or the blues hack if you want to apply the blues hack. This, and then back to A minor. This is all just movable. We're just applying it to the chord. You get these flavors. And I know I didn't pass this, or maybe I did. Actually, I think I did pass this worksheet out. Just one more quick example here okay, now after all that's being said, now I'm going to demonstrate a scale. Like one scale. 2 scales. Okay, 2 scales for you. Since minor swing, as you all know, is the most important song in Gypsy Jazz. John, can you play minor swing? I'm going to play the scale, though. I'm going to say it this way. If you took your A minor triad, which, think about the notes, you guys. A minor is what 3 notes?
A, C.
A, C, E, ace. A D minor triad is what? D, F, A. And E major triad, or E, you should say major 7, but E major triad is what?
E, G sharp.
So if I put those 9 notes collectively together, A, C, E, D, F, E, G sharp, B, and I put it together into a scale, you have this scale. That's the harmonic minor scale. So if you reduce the minor swing chords down to triads and collectively group them all together, you get the A harmonic minor scale. John, chords, I'm just going to run the scale, and I think I passed out a worksheet for harmonic minor. Here's a blues hack on D minor. A minor. Caravan. But I like this scale a lot. That was a melodic minor. That'll come next. Django really loved the melodic minor scale on minor chords. But right now I was just kind of showing you the harmonic minor scale. So again, there's so many concepts. Just for minor swing alone, we can spend 6 weeks just looking at different improvisation ideas. But instead, I like to show these improvisation ideas applied to different chord progressions and songs. But you're going to see that I often will say, okay, let's go back and apply it to minor swing. Because, you know, that's a tune that's a common tune that everybody knows. Sweet Georgia Brown is another beautiful song that we learned last term to apply this on. Another quick demonstration. John, Sweet Georgia Brown. But check this out. What I'm going to do is navigate the progression. E7 for 4 bars. A7 for 4 bars. We're in the key of G. D7 for 4 bars. And then G, I think I'll use the blues hack on G, the minor blues hack, you know, the triad. But check out what I do, and then I'm going to kind of yell it out. I'm going to do the caravan hack on the E7, A7, and D7, but I got to follow those chords. So on the E, I'm going to probably grab this. I'll just keep it simple and just do that A shape. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And A. And D. Here it's darker, a little bit quirky, and then on the G. And back. A. And D. I'm just looping. And G. And I'm thinking this. And B. Etc. Thank you. So again, that's a demonstration of, okay, now let's apply the same hack to a different song. That song's really interesting because you have E7 for 4 bars, right? A7. And notice when I just kind of do these licks, I just hit the chord, then I go just right out of that shape. That's why it's so important to visualize that shape. D, G. And I'm just, again, kind of just using those chord, the actual shape of it. These licks or phrases just kind of are extracted right from the shapes of the triads and the chord shapes. That's it for today, you guys. Thank you.